Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for this segment, we have John Phillips, co-founder of PredictIt, the stock market for politics. We'll take a look at some 2022 outlook themes that the traders on PredictIt are paying close attention to. John, it's great to see you as always. Welcome back to Trade Talks.
Hey, Jill, it's good to be back.
All right. And of course, the most near-term thing that we're looking at right now, traders don't appear to be buying some of the discourse surrounding Manchin, his comments, and not getting this bill through.
No, for a group of traders who were called it right when they didn't think that the bill was going to pass in 2021, they seem pretty confident that there's going to be something, build back a little better in 2022. By July 1st, 41% odds, they're giving it 41% odds there's going to be a bill of $600 billion or less that will be passed and signed into law. Now, there's an important caveat there. If they just do the child care tax credit, that's about $600 billion. If they extend it out to the full 10 years, there's a lot of support for that. So, they're saying good odds, decent odds, still less than 50-50, that there's going to be a bill of $600 billion or less. And of course, there are other odds on other dollar amounts, but right. Small bill is favored by July 1st. You think about the imperative. A lot of members of Congress, Nancy Pelosi got her members to vote in favor of this bill and go on the record for something that is not becoming law. That's kind of hard for these Democrats to defend when they go back to the district. They get all the grief from those who didn't want the bill to pass, and they get the grief from those who did want it to pass, but they couldn't pass it.
So you also have a number of markets on the November elections, of course, 2022 representing the midterms, and that's going to be here just before you know it, as we saw what happened in 2021. Where do PredictIt traders think the pendulum could be swinging?
Well, there's almost the very high odds, 83% odds that the Republicans are going to control the House, according to PredictIt traders, after the 2022 elections. So that's not unanimous. You can still buy for 18 cents the chance to win a buck. If you think that the Republicans are not going to control the House. Now, anything can happen, but history's any guide, and sentiment right now is that the Democrats are going to take a beating, and they're going to lose the House. Now, the Senate's a little different, right? So there's a general consensus that the Republicans are going to pick up, not a consensus, but the odds are that the Republicans are going to pick up control of the Senate. The real question is, how many seats are they going to get? One seat? Because remember, it's so close. 1 seat, 2 seats, 3 seats, 4 seats in the Senate. We'll have to see, but there's, those odds are more narrow. And then, of course, there's a lot of related markets on PredictIt. Will Mitch McConnell be the new majority leader? Might it be, or will it still be Chuck Schumer, which, of course, is what control of the Senate's about?
Yeah, it's so interesting, John. One thing I remember you teaching me since we started working together, you always told me, Jill, the pendulum in politics is the one thing that you can guarantee will always shift. That's the one thing that we're pretty sure of. I just never expected for it to shift as quickly. I thought maybe it would be a couple of terms or generational, but I did not expect it to switch almost, from day one to day two. So I think it's interesting to watch here. And I think perhaps one of the key social issues we'll be facing is certainly with SCOTUS, Supreme Court in the United States, and with, one of the major social issues of multiple generations, of course, Roe versus Wade.
Right. So that's, this is the practical implication, affects, millions of people's lives. And this is something that a lot of people, it's almost binary. A lot of people feel very, very strongly on either side of this issue. And it's been up to the Supreme Court. And for a while, the conventional wisdom was, that issue was settled by the Supreme Court with Roe v. Wade. Well, the Supremes are being asked to strike down the Mississippi ban on pre-viability abortions in a case called Dobbs. And what happens there is going to be momentous. And it's not just because of the effect of whether it's struck down or not, which PredictIt, the latest price for that is 19% odds. And the question really becomes, this is the impact of having a Supreme Court that's as divided as it is, and that's going to be real interesting to watch. But it's going to definitely motivate the troops on both sides. I mean, if no matter what the Supreme Court does, this is sure to be a turnout generator those who are in favor of protecting a Roe v. Wade and those who think it has to go.
Yeah. And then finally, Trump, we have to put him in the conversation somewhere. Predicted traders are pricing in an indictment by April.
Can you imagine that? So an indictment of Trump by April 1st, predicted traders are saying is at 28% odds. So the way PredictIt works, as you know, is you put down 28 cents, and if it happens, you get $1. And somebody on the other side of that bet is putting in 72 cents that he won't be indicted by April 1st. And that person loses the 72 cents. It gives it to you if you predicted accurately that he would be indicted. Now, the opposite's true, of course, as well. And so it's really a question of, what you think of reading the tea leaves, but also focusing on lots of information about this. And right now, predicted traders, it's pretty high odds, 28% odds that Trump's going to be indicted by April 1st. It's extraordinary.
Yeah, well,
we are in for an interesting 2022. Hopefully, it'll be a lot better than 2021 for everyone. And stay healthy this holiday season, and we'll see you in 2022.
All right. That is one thing that's for certain. That's for sure, John. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.